Outsource the Indians, obviously. Do people in your country just not use computers? They understand how the shit fucking works, and then they tell the person to unplug it and plug it back in. It's probably trying to make computers retard proof. That's kind of what they do. Or at least it's better than drawing dick. Yeah, I forget. Was the payment for this com like for each one or all of them? As it was the payment for this com like each one or for all of them? Was 150 for all of them or each one? As it was 150 for each of them or for all of them? Was the pay what? No. So each is like 80 or whatever. Because who sees fucking black mambas? Wait, one of those was a rattlesnake? That's that one. Was a rattlesnake the one in the middle? Yeah, I can see. I just didn't look at that one. The python or anaconda one is easy though, and king cobra is obviously easy because it's the only snake to have shit like that. Well, if you live in the fucking Midwest, fucking rattlesnakes can certainly be a problem. Do you even have rattlesnakes? What? A rattlesnake?
So the UN, and again, all of this censorship and this ID on the internet, the real reason why they want your ID on the internet is so they can prosecute you for speaking your mind online and speaking up. It's not for children's safety, it's for their safety. Children are simply a misdirection. Most people are aligned on the idea that kids shouldn't be on porn websites. You don't need to have an argument about this. Most people agree on this. The problem is whenever, well, I mean, I'll play the video. I think that there it is.
Welcome back, guys. Hope you've been having a great weekend. Unfortunately, though, we've got a number of very disturbing updates to go over in this video regarding the ongoing situation with various governments trying to invade your privacy, censor you, change the internet for the worse. You know, all the sort of stuff we've been talking about for about the last week now.
They've already been censoring people, and they've already, people didn't have privacy to begin with. And now it's going to be even more extreme with every single website having to do it individually, which is going to cause so many problems.
As it's still getting worse, unfortunately. Now, I've got this wonderful little graphic here on screen from the account SK Bytes. And this is just like a quick prologue of the stuff that's been going on leading up to this. It's a very, very brief recap. Then we'll get into all the new stuff, and I'll show you that in no specific order. I've got like 8 different things that, as mentioned, are all very disturbing. So before we get into that, let's just read this really quick. The graphic says, George Orwell was right. It's happening. Legal speech is now, quote unquote, harmful. Platforms forced to censor you or face ruin. Age checks equal surveillance.
By the way, surveillance and digital ID, they already have surveillance and digital ID. The real problem isn't the age checks. The real problem is the government using the information to prosecute you based off of speech laws. That's the real enemy. YouTube isn't your enemy. Spotify isn't your enemy. The government is the enemy. They are the ones that are trying to control what you say, and they are the ones that are making these companies do this. Do you think that YouTube wants to maintain a database of everybody's fucking driver's license? Why the fuck would they want to do that? No, they don't want that. They don't want to deal with any of this, because if they did, they would have done it earlier. The only reason why they do it is because they have to do it. To sell it? Well, they're not even selling it. That's the thing. They don't even say, they have a million other levels of data that they sell. They don't even need that. They already have that data for your analytics to begin with.
And digital ID, privacy crushed, dissent deleted. They're not banning ideas outright. They're programming the machines to erase them silently. The government has handed itself the power to police thought. This is no longer democracy. This is not new. This has been going on now. I think that the problem is that this makes the laws more of a direct threat rather than this just looming presence that people are worried about. Because now you have these laws that are directly in front of the public. Everybody can see it. It's right there. Digital dictatorship. And yeah, there is a little typo there, but hey, it's a nice graphic. So let's start with this clip that I saw posted by the account Skeletor Explain.
Skeletor!
Showing this member of the UN, Antonio Guterres, or however you say that. Obviously, as you can see, the quality's pretty low, but what's important is what he's saying. So let's play this 30-second clip. Yeah, this is quite an interesting clip. Let's take a look.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people.
It's not about spreading disinformation and hate. It's about spreading information and hate against him and people who he is on the same team with, basically. That's really what's going on here. That's what they care about. This is not about kids. It was never about kids.
Clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
So we've got this member of the UN using this rhetoric to try and justify what these various governments seem to be doing to the internet, saying, once again, digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate. all rhetoric, as mentioned, that they're just
Totally fine with me, by the way. Completely okay. That's totally all right. First Amendment. Cry about it. Go back to wherever you came from. Don't fucking come to America and tell us what we can and can't talk about. The fuck out. That's what I think.
trying to use to censor free speech, invade your privacy.
I don't want to listen to some fucking international bureaucrat try to dictate to me what my fucking laws should be. The fuck out of here.
Police whatever they deem as quote unquote
Some
wrong
fat
thing.
old
You know, I don't
retard.
need to sit here explaining it. You guys surely understand all of this. And who exactly is this guy, Antonio Guterres? Well, first paragraph of Wikipedia is I'll be reading on this guy, but this says a Portuguese politician and diplomat who is serving as the 9th and current Secretary General of the United Nations since 2017, a member of the Portuguese Socialist
What?
Party
Who would have
of the United Nations.
What does that even mean? What is that? Wait, no, what word? I don't know what that is. For what?
since 2017. A member of the Portuguese Socialist Party,
Who would have guessed?
Guterres served as the Prime Minister of Portugal from 1995 to 2002.
Oh
This
boy,
tweet from Samantha
socialism.
Smith
What the
goes on to
fuck?
detail with a video clip we're going to watch how she was approached by UK's elite police squad, the one that we mentioned the other day when we
What?
read this article, which I'll just read the headline.
Elite police squad to monitor anti-migrant posts on social media. It's going to get real bad in the UK pretty soon. It's going to get real bad.
This sounds
Up
like
now,
fucking
on that said,
Eastern
elite
Europe
police squad to monitor anti-migrant posts
You
on
know it.
social media. And you can
It's gonna
reasonably
happen.
presume this is the exact sort of quote-unquote
It'll be real
hateful
bad.
speech that Mr. Guterres was referring to in that UN speech in the clip that we watched a moment ago. How dare you criticize these policies? You're not allowed to do that. You might get a knock on your door. And no, I'm not kidding. That seems to be what happened to Samantha. As she says, I went on TV to discuss Pakistani grooming gangs in my labor-run hometown of Telford. The next day, officers banged on my door, wanting to shut me up for exposing them. With the Online
Yep.
Safety Act now in force, no one is safe. If it
No. This has nothing to do with the Online Safety Act. They would have found this information without that. It would have been easy for them to do. You don't need the Online Safety Act to do this. They could have already done it before this.
happened to me, it can happen to anyone.
I was on your show last Monday, same
Good.
time practically. I came off, there was a fantastic
Yeah,
response.
they've been prosecuting the people for this for years. So obviously this new act that just happened clearly isn't clearly this didn't cause that to happen.
From the public. I was really, my heart was warmed by the support and outreach that I received from those that either didn't know what had been going on in Telford for decades. Up to 1,000 girls had been reported to have been abused by
Jesus.
grooming gangs since the 1980s.
Holy
or
shit.
those that had no idea that it could potentially still be going on, and the scale of police, council and social services failings. I went back home, I went back to Telford, and the next day around lunchtime 2 police officers banged on my door demanding that I speak to them about my interview.
Really? So the police who have done nothing for the entire third millennium to date suddenly were roused to activity by you going on television.
Yeah, they told me that they had gone round to all of the addresses they had on file for me. They had gone to my previous home addresses, the different...
Well, they're trying to intimidate her. They're trying to make her afraid of speaking out against it, and they're trying to push her into being quiet because maybe she hasn't completely broken the law, but she's done things that put their narrative at risk. So because they can't actually arrest her because of breaking the law, they just have to resort to intimidating her with the use of the police and the military, or probably militarized police. That's basically what's happening, right? So they can't put you in jail, but they can scare the shit out of you. They call it the non-crime hate incident.
accommodations that I'd stayed at looking for me, and eventually they located me. They hunted me down, they tracked
course
me,
they will.
banged on my door. Not a
Again, like the government's not stupid. They're gonna find out where you live.
too different to when they're knocking on the door of a perpetrator, of a potential criminal.
Yeah.
I was on FaceTime to my friend at the time, who said to me afterwards, I genuinely thought you were going to get arrested from the
Damn.
way that they were talking to you.
Of course, because they tried to scare her.
You would think that they would be protecting people who would be trying to expose these grooming gangs, right?
It's
Like,
pretty decent
you would
when
think the
mount it.
police should want to protect the people exposing them and go after them. But in some sort of twisted world, apparently they're trying to silence the people speaking out about that stuff.
They told me that, quote unquote, when you go on GB News and talk about grooming gangs in Telford, it's our duty to follow up with you.
Why? Why? Yeah, I'm curious why that is.
That's not actually true, is it?
Yeah.
No,
So
not
the
at all.
police are, among other things, lying to you.
It's funny, I said to them at the time, it was funny that they did absolutely nothing to bring my accusers to justice, but when I went on national TV, my abusers to justice, but when I went on national TV and talked about the industrial scale of their failings
Yes.
and their inaction in bringing to justice the perpetrators of vile sex crimes in Telford, that they are suddenly spurred into action to come and knock on my door and intimidate me into silence.
It's pretty
Of
pathetic.
course, because they don't want anybody. The thing is that they know women speaking out about this stuff changes the cultural narrative, and it makes the migrants no longer the innocent, downtrodden masses that they can take advantage of people's emotions to justify bringing into the country. So what they are the most afraid of is women speaking out and sharing their stories about being, like assaulted or harassed or anything like that. Because if they do that and then people see that this is happening, the entire foundation of the lie that they've created falls apart. That's the reason why. And they're terrified of that foundation cracking. And so as soon as people realize that actually, no, these people are not, these super misunderstood groups of people, and they're actually, in some cases, bad actors, not all of them, obviously, but some of them are. And if you don't hold the ones that are bad accountable, people will assume that they're all bad. And that's what's happening.
These big butch coppers being so insecure.
Now arrest the police who help the gangs now? As I said, I think that eventually there will be enough people in the UK that are tired and upset about this. And I do think that what will happen is that the anti-immigrant sentiment will become so large that it will create a majority inside of the government, and they will be able to enact policy. And I think when that happens, that policy and the people that now are trying to suppress everybody talking about these grooming gangs, etc., these people will be lucky if they are alive. That's what's going to happen. They'll show no mercy. Yes. I guarantee you that the people that will take over and the people that do this will be absolutely fucking brutal. Protests have started already. That's nothing. No, I'm talking trust me. Again, they're still saying turn the boats away. Just wait till they start saying sink them, because that's what's next. And it would have never gotten to this point if they had treated the people who had reservations about migration seriously instead of calling them racists and banning them off of social media and putting them in jail. It would have never gotten to this point.
That you going on TV and criticizing them can drive them into action that they otherwise haven't taken for decades. Do you know who actually ordered up this, I guess raid is the word for it?
I have absolutely...
Well, obviously somebody who's at the government. And to be clear, it's bad. It's going to happen, but it's still bad. Of course this is bad. Yeah, tons of innocent people are going to be hurt by this. On both sides. Tons of them are. And this is going to be awful. And it's a problem that's a complete unforced error by the government.
No idea. I know that it was two police officers from the CSE team that knocked on my door. They said they had been working for the force for a year and 6 months respectively, and they were quote unquote...
I think another great example of this is you look at Alligator Alcatraz, where you have the president of the United States that just says, yeah, we're going to let illegal aliens get eaten by alligators and die. And everybody's like, yeah, based. True. Great. Awesome. He won the popular vote. 10 years ago, that would have gotten you canceled. Now it gets you elected. Imagine where we're going to be 10 years from now.
Trying to make a difference. I don't...
No way. As if it wasn't bad enough. I mean, that's just silly. I mean... I can't believe that. Oh, we're trying to make a difference here. How dare you speak against this stuff? You're not helping anyone. We're the ones trying to make a difference. You got to be kidding me, dude.
Yep.
I don't know what difference they were making by going after a victim rather than...
When did he say let them get eaten by alligators? Somebody was interviewing him, and he said, well, so is the idea that if they escape, they'll get attacked by alligators? And he says yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea. Yeah, sure. It's pretty much about it. Yeah. Yeah, no, he straight up said it. Yeah, he did.
Traitors, those that have been systematically using grooming and passing girls around,
well,
for decades.
Absolutely insane. Of course, there is so much that could be said about that. It is just vastly disturbing, and my apologies for having to cut some of that. You probably saw the disclaimers I put on screen for very brief portions of that clip. She, as mentioned, did go into further detail about these disgusting crimes. And yeah, just think of the worst possible stuff that can happen to women and children. And that's sort of stuff that she's talking about that they apparently don't want her talking about. And that takes us to the next part of the video. In the UK, the Office of Communications is getting more and more desperate, it seems. This account right here, Alex Armstrong, saying exposed. Ofcom, Office of Communications, are paying influencers to spread propaganda about the Online Safety Act in the UK.
What?
Orwell's 1984 isn't just here, it's in full motion. Thank you to Dr. Hoenderkamp for bringing this to my attention. And I gotta say, like, before I can even read this, if you're an influencer accepting this money and doing this, I mean, just pathetic beyond words, really. So, goes on to say, paid advertisement. Where does it say paid advertisement?
Where does it say?
It shows this Instagram account here. It reads, as of the 25th of July, anyone trying to access adult content online will have to prove they are over 18. This is not to ruin anyone's fun, but it's about time that children are protected online.
My skeptic inside of me makes me think that, is the advertisement for that, or is it for the can of soda that she's holding? Is that explained in the video? Like, I'm not convinced by this. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like, this isn't, it's not convincing enough.
There is an enormous amount of content out there, but some of it is content that is made for adults and not children. This is just the start of trying to make the internet a safer place, and this arrow, which does cut off some of the text there, but the arrow points to, as you can see, this being an advertisement. So, yeah, I mean, if this is all true, this is not a doctored screenshot, which, I mean, I don't think it is, but, you know, as a disclaimer, I will say, assuming this is all true.
Olivia Bentley K. Somebody'd have to find the post and show me. But it looks like it, and you can see that this girl is advertising all kinds of products all the time. I don't think that we can say with certainty that her doing this advertisement, it was actually by this company. I think this is people looking for something, and they're looking so hard that they've made it up themselves. I don't, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I would not, I don't trust this yet.
I mean, how pathetic, man. Like, I couldn't imagine the sort of person that would take money to promote this nonsense, to stand up for this corruption, and to gaslight your own followers about it, to take the money and push this on your followers to try and spread the agenda of these corrupt politicians. I mean, I don't know how someone could possibly ever be okay with that. And it goes without saying, of course, but yeah, doing it for free would be bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all around, as mentioned, a really pathetic thing. Then I also saw this tweet about the Labour government in Australia and this app called Signal app, which is apparently a very popular messaging app in Australia. I've never heard of it before. If this is like popular around the world, I guess I'm just out of the loop. But the tweet reads from Integrity. Breaking, Labour government demands backdoors into encrypted messaging apps. Whittaker, Signal app's president, said they would exit Australia before giving access. The quote being,
I think that every single company should obviously have to follow the law, and they should have to like give every information away if it's asked to by a judge. Just because a website has like an ideology of like, oh, this is the way it should be. If you want to do business in a country, you have to follow that country's laws. That's all there is to it. Like, there's no way around this. They should leave. Well, then they can. But those are the two options. Yeah, so then they pull out? Absolutely.
Our commitment to end-to-end encryption, maintaining robust, technically guaranteed privacy for everyone who uses Signal, never wavers. And so the text here in the article says, Signal boss warns Apple X Australia if forced to hand over users' encrypted messages. So I'll admit, I don't think I fully understand this one, but to my understanding, I don't think Signal currently holds decryption keys.
The principle is correct, but in this case, they should leave. Australia has some really draconian, shitty laws. Yeah, and that's totally their discretion to do that. But obviously, a company should not be able to defy the national laws of the country that they're doing business in because it goes against what their business model is or what their company ideals are. This is very obviously true, and if you applied this to any other thing that you guys would agree with, you would immediately realize that it's necessary. Of course, companies just. You think a company just gets to ignore a subpoena? That's ridiculous.
So, hypothetically, if the government were to demand like chat logs from their app, they wouldn't be able to hand them over, and this would mean that The government wants them to redesign the app in a way where they create this backdoor access that they would then give the Australian government, to which Signal believes would threaten their global security model, and saying they'd rather
That's a huge problem. And you're right that certain companies own the government and they're able to effectively operate without any sort of regulation, or if in worst case they can use the regulation against other companies that are their adversaries.
Australia then do such a thing, unless I have this completely mistaken, which I might. And lastly, we've also got some news.
Look how good the quality of this is. Look at that. That is insanely fucking good. Like, love the armor? Yeah, it's lifelike. Yeah, this is gonna... Dude, it's not AI? I don't know. Is it? Is it AI or not? I don't know if it is. I feel like it's AI, but, like, damn, it's getting pretty fucking hard to tell. Look how good the quality of this is. Look at that. That is...
I had a piece of stubborn lip skin that I ripped off right before starting this recording, so my lip might bleed a little bit. Don't be concerned. That's just part of being 31 years old now. Even something as simple as taking a little bit of chapped lip skin off is enough to have me bleeding profusely, it seems. But, you know what else is bleeding? Marvel, at the box office. Now, this is a conversation in cinema that happens more frequently than people debating whether or not Sam and Frodo were gay. So many people since the end of Endgame have talked about how Marvel is dead and dying, and that superhero fatigue had finally reached its molten core where everyone was done with MCU and how bad the quality was. But despite all of that hoopla, pretty much all of the MCU projects did decently well for the most part. Like, even unanimously hated stinkers like Ant-Man Quantumania still generated like $500 million. But the quality did significantly decline, and a lot of people were getting tired of it. And some of them did actually not do well, like the Marvels. But on the whole, the MCU was still fine in the box office, but it was showing signs of weakness. Now, they've released two decent movies back-to-back, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four. But they're not exactly doing the billion-dollar nut-busting that the MCU was known for. Fantastic Four is experiencing a 80% drop from its debut, so going into its second week here, it has declined significantly. It had a great start, and it had incredibly strong word of mouth, but it doesn't seem like that's translating to asses in seats. And Thunderbolts was the same thing. People saw it, they were surprised by how good it was, saying, you know, Marvel's fucking back, baby. Fuckle your seatbelts, because we are in it again. But then that also didn't have the strongest box office run.
Am I fighting a fucking turtle lion? Is Magna Malo a lion? Can you play it? It's funny that Jaguars, but not great Jaguars. I don't like this fucking crane fucker. The the crane. The thing that looks like a crane. It looks like, I don't know its name. Spits fire. I said it looks like a crane and it spits fucking fire. Uh, Nah, this is just weird. I do the fucking one monster I did beat my ass was the fucking worm. I didn't I didn't even know it was electric. Oh my god. I found a toad. I haven't seen one in this game yet. The hell? Why is it pink? Fucking my face. Oh my god, why what shooting fucking fireballs? Is that a Jaggy? Is it about to fucking die?
which is now leading to the bigger conversation that's been had a lot about the state of the MCU. Are people just tired of it? Is superhero fatigue really setting in now, finally? Or is it mainly just Marvel? Because Superman has done great in the box office. It has been fucking slapping in the box office, and it's a good movie. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four are also good movies, especially in a sea of dog shit that Marvel had been farting out for quite a few years, with a few exceptions like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And now it's left a lot of people wondering, well, what the fuck's going on? Why are they not having strong box office performances when these are finally some decent films from Marvel again? And to be fair, I think it's a little overblown with Fantastic Four flopping and all of that with that narrative that's being spun. It's still at $370 million worldwide in its second weekend. That is still pretty solid, but against its budget and its marketing, it still needs to make like $450 million or something from the reports I read. Same with the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts generated $380 million total across its lifespan in theaters, and it needed about $450 million for that break even. So like it still does have a little ways to go, but it's not doing like dreadfully. Like I don't think all the Marvel execs are in full force panic mode, sweating, contemplating sitting on a cactus or something, like worried that it's all dried up and Marvel's dead. But it is less than you would expect for some actually good Marvel movies. It's an interesting topic because again, this is a conversation that's been had a lot, but I had always just said, yeah, the films have gotten worse, but there's always going to be an audience for it. They're always going to make like over $500 million. Turns out that is not the case. These are better movies than the ones that were coming before it and performing much better, but it really does seem like people are checking out. A lot of people are starting to view the MCU kind of like homework, that you have to do like prerequisite reading and watching the shows beforehand.
Yeah, that's also annoying. Having the fucking, oh, hey, you gotta fucking watch all of this shit to understand this shit.
Sexpot jeans supermodel versus random Japanese salary woman. It's crazy how many white supremacists get one shot by Asian girls. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Nobody might not want to say it, but I'm gonna say it. And all these guys are like, well, you know, you don't want to race mix. You don't. Oh, well, you can't have kids with black people or Latinas or anything like that. And no, South Americans, anything like that. But like, oh, well, this girl's from Japan. Oh, well, that's different. Of course, right? So which way should we go? I don't know. Notice neither of them. This is the reason why everybody says my subreddit is full of incels. It's not even about that. Who would know? Yeah, they're not fat. Doesn't matter, right? Sexpot jeans supermodel
The purify the Asian bloodline. What? Right. I am now possibly in a high rank. Maybe I can find better looking fucking armor. Something that looks better than fucking cheat armor to get the fuck out of low rank faster. Yeah. Uh, Magnamello was easier than Kezu. And all of the people who What? You mean look at his wife? She got his eyes and tails and that's it. As opposed to everything else is from her mother. What, you mean like the traits like black hair? Oh hey, a longsword I'm not gonna fucking use. Not for me apparently. I got brown hair. I got auburn hair. Boy, Nargacuga! Oh my god, it's Mizutsune. Mizuts... Yeah, that. Oh god, Rathalos. Bzzz. What the fuck? What is it, the quest name? And when I'll go fight a bat squirrel. Is there bleed in this game? Does a Nagakuga How do I buy items? Potions and shit. Oh my god, I can actually buy stuff from this fucker now. Oh my god, I can buy trank bombs? What the fuck? That is amazing. What happened? Where?
Without a care of preach, but all along it's inside of me.
I mean, he was there in fucking the Yakuza event. Unless it's Slappy, then the wolf is the plaything. Why in the fuck can in none of the other Monster Hunters you can buy fucking trank bombs? How was that tradition? I want them to put Nagakuga in Wilds.
私の手を取って今日という日を祝って笑って愛して光になるから鼓動鳴らして消えない傷を抱えていても眠れない骨に噛んでいても君に似合う笑顔を探す期待していてよ飛び立つ空に祈り打ち放て目覚めた夕4時今は生きるんだ守れるものはこの瞬間だけ一緒に行こう私を信じて声が聞こえた未来へこのきらめきは誰も消せないよ守れるのなら引き金を引こう祝福をしよう新たな願いをほら楽しいことを選んでいこうやりたいことを全部やろう悩むことは何もないよ惑う暇はない光やれと願う嘘暗闇打ち抜いてアップルパイ片手にねどこまでも行けそうずっと夢から覚めないこのまま気づいて私の
Is the
翼で
fucking dinosaur is high rank now? Am I setting low rank? Am I in high rank yet? Am I in high rank yet? Well, I'm fighting a Nagakuga. Five. And I even had a fucking end credits scene. Huh? What was that? Oh. I don't really like that either.
飛び立つ空に祈り打ち放て目覚めた命今も生きるんだ守れるものはこの瞬間だけ一緒に行こう私を信じて 飛び立つ空に祈り打ち放て目覚めた命今を生きるんだ守れるものはこの瞬間だけ一緒に行こう私を信じて声が聞こえた未来へこのきらめきは誰も気づないよ守れるのなら生きる目を引こう祝福をしよう新たな未来を
How the fuck are people saying Worlds is the easiest, but like I'm playing Rise and it's easier than. I said, how the hell are people saying Wilds is the easiest, but I'm playing fucking Rise and this is so much easier. I just switched the controls around screen. Not to mention you heal a hell of a lot faster. Cause fucking, I guess fasties is just intrinsic. A stressful situation? Mean enraged? Honestly, Nagagante is not that hard. If you don't know, if you haven't fucking fought it, it's gonna seem a little overwhelming. But after you fight it a few fucking times, it's gonna be like, this bitch is a bitch. I mean, World was also my properly first Monster Hunter. Where I actually played it. It's fucking. Is this the same person who did the snakes? Fucking, it's wild that the fucking reason I just got into Monster Hunter was a fucking whim when I was like a kid, and I saw Monster Hunter 4 at GameStop, and I thought this looks cool. And then I played it, and I'm like, this is weird. And then fucking Monster Hunter World came out, and I was like, maybe it would be better if I played it on Xbox. And yeah, it was better. Xbox. No, I'm saying the fucking reason I got in the goddamn Monster Hunter in the first place was a fucking whim on seeing Monster Hunter 4 at GameStop out, and I looked at the cover and I'm like, this is cool. Then I fucking got it, got home, tried it out. I'm like, this is weird. And then Monster Hunter World came out very soon after. I'm like, maybe it would be better if it was on Xbox. And I tried World, and yeah, World is fucking a great game. No, it came out in 2018. I got fucking Monster Hunter 4 before Worlds came out. Because I didn't know what the fuck Monster Hunter was at the goddamn time. What the fuck is a Slacktoth? I'm still on fucking low rank. Oh my god, this sucks. Oh boy, low rank Zenogre. I don't want to fight that damn thing. I don't like it. I will instead fight something that can ignite water. Soap. The other monster here. Oh my god, the bubbles. I am soapy. Oh my god. I can't run. His face. Oh my god. Why is it red? Why is the bubble red? Jesus. Oh, wait. Making weird fox noises. A Pokemon showed up. Oh, there's so much blood in this game. There's a fucking world. There's a fucking bitch. That's a real stupid question. I'm wet. I was afflicted with blast blight.